Alright, I have my goggles on and I'm ready to play. My name is Sloth154 and welcome back to Horace. This episode we are going after the professor, who is holding up in the old man's factories.
Mind the doors. The train is now departing.
Last episode we went to meet with Alice. She was the one who had a bit of a hoarding problem. Oh, because I finished there, it's green on the map.
Factoridon. This is Factoridon.
We went to her house. We met up with her husband, I think. Sim, who decided to try to hack our brain. So all that trippiness was just him trying to get into our head. So now we're here at Factoridon. Ramble of the Ballad. Yeah, now we're here in Factoridon, looking for the professor. Ah, marvelous trash. I haven't picked up trash in so long. Yeah, but if you don't remember the professor, he's the one who saw the consequences of using robots like Horace for weapons. Get that. This room is clean. But yeah, he was the one who said that it would end up killing them all. And he was kind of right. Oh god. What? Oh, I had to duck. Okay. Huh. Hold on. I see, that's how you want to play a game. This time I'm keeping my little shield, buddy. I didn't realize that could work. Ooh. Well. That's a three-dimensional nightmare. Trash. Again, who sets things up like this? Dang it. Alright, there we go. Is the old man's name Solomon? Or is it that last name? Here we are. We're gonna meet the professor. We're gonna be reunited with our family. We're gonna be happy.
The security system jumped to life. I knew the only way I could deactivate it was to destroy its power source. That's when I spotted a perfect shiny surface. Maybe I could deflect one of the lasers toward the generator.
Right, red. Blue. Oh! Wrong button. That was easy. Better than it should be. Turn that off. Can't pick that up.
Mr. Silton and the others arrived and changed out
Oh,
of their
cool.
disguises. Although Mr. Preston was moaning as apparently Mrs. Silton had only washed his and Mr. Logan's Halloween costumes.
I don't trust Mr. Logan. Because he's a bloodthirsty monster. Still don't know what to do with that, so I'm just gonna get out of it.
The office was deserted, but it looked like people had left in a hurry. Various computers had been left on.
Oh, am I messed up there? Oh, actually, that was the right thing to do. What? Oh. Well, seeing as I don't need those, I will go this way. I did need this.
Strangely, there were drawings of me everywhere. I hope the professor could tell me why when we found him.
Oh. There's a second vending machine. I didn't see that at all. Well, I wasn't looking for it, but I still didn't see it. Alright, boys, come on, keep up. Need this gear.
There were no signs of life. If the professor was living here, he hadn't been here in a long time.
Now I know. I gotta know what's behind the red door. Oh, death. Oh. I see. I'll come back for those gears. While you guys aren't looking.
This all looked very familiar. I would have looked around more, but we needed to find the professor.
You say that, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Not like they're gonna penalize me for it. Thought you could hide your trash from me, huh?
It was strange. None of the machines were totally active, but the power was still on.
Huh. I was going the right way anyway. Oh, that was the door Mr. Logan was standing by. It all leads to here. Oh, I don't like that sound.
A large piece of machinery blocked our path. Mr. Silton smiled when I asked what we should do next. I knew straight away that he didn't mean Mr. Preston or Mr. Logan when he said, "Someone's gonna have to climb inside." It seemed we could use the computer to move chunks of the machine around. I knew I needed to make a clear path, as it would be me that would be going through it. Okay.
I'm gonna have to get back with you guys once I do this, because this might take a while. Did I get it? Did I figure it out? Oh, thank God. There we go. That took longer than... That didn't take as long as I expected, but still took me a while. As long as it didn't restart my progress, I'm fine. Alright, let's just take our time. I'm not gonna take my time. Oh, I hate that. There we go. Turn that off. Come on, you soul bastards. Ooh, almost ran right into that. There we go. It's like they don't want to be here.
As we entered the extravagant corridor, the most beautiful tune played in the distance. But almost as soon as we began to enjoy its dulcet tones, the music stopped, dead.
Something bad's about to happen. Well, I'll survive at least. Well, me and Mr. Logan will survive, but the other two, I don't see how they're gonna survive it. Well, we see what he has to say. Don't tell me he died.
professor was dead, but everything seemed wrong. He was old, very old, maybe 20 years older than when I'd last seen him. Mr. Silton sounded very sad when he said, "How did anyone even get in here? I don't know what to do now."
Someone
I
shot the
suppose
old
we'll
man
head back to the train station.
at the. Wait. Alright,
It was hard to believe the professor was gone. Although he was always suspicious of me, I was sad to think I'd never see him again.
I'll go right. Oh!
Is it? Yes, it is. This is the right day, said the
Wait.
professor as he jabbed at a small metal box. I don't know how much time I've got to explain, he continued as a bright light began to surround everyone.
Yeah,
Oh,
Mrs.
not
Stilton
long
did the
at
right
all.
thing. Yeah, he did the right thing. Back away from the dead old man who looks like he just time traveled. Pretty sure that's gonna get him off of the drugs. Yep. Why not wait?
We had reappeared just as smoothly as we had left, but we were somewhere very different. Mr. Preston and Mr. Logan were speechless, but the professor just continued studying his box. Looking back, I suppose I was rather stupid, as I ended up chasing a beautiful butterfly. I was lost, but soon I realized I wasn't as alone as I thought.
Oh. Okay.
I couldn't believe we had time traveled, but there was no time to sightsee.
Okay. Oh, I forgot. Go. We got this.
The prehistoric world looked like paradise, except for the killer cavemen. Now, this was clearly worth something.
One. Okay, I'm. Oh god.
I would have liked to have a look around, but I had to get back to the others.
I overjumped that. Oh. Is that the obelisk? I just sick Mr. Logan on him.
After literally 10 minutes of Mr. Preston and Mr. Logan saying, "Whoa," and "dude," the professor began to explain.
Bill and
Time
Ted?
travel. If I can find the correct point in time, then I should be able to, well, make things better. I suppose it's like we're in that excellent movie, chuckled Mr. Logan. Back to the Future? Replied Mr. Preston.
How dare...
No, that
Wait.
excellent movie. Back to the Future 2? Time Bandits? Time...
I didn't even put that
Terminator.
together.
Groundhog Day. Groundhog Day. Groundhog Day. The box let out a loud bleep as the professor gave it a heavy thump. This damn thing's so dependent on the maths used to calculate where the Earth is at any one point in time and space, that it's almost random where we'll end up, or even how long the time window will stay open. That last one was the shortest I've had yet. Although obviously apprehensive of our situation, I think Mr. Preston and Mr. Logan were too excited to really pay attention. But they were far less excited when I asked what his longest stay was, and the professor replied, about 15 years. I was stranded in
I did not put that together.
For so long. They had me build them a steam-powered robot. You should have seen the things they had it build. Yes, wonderful things. It was like I was Thoth incarnate, or the modern Prometheus. Speaking of which, robot, have a look around, see if you can find anything to make a fire.
Well,
as great as my shoes were, they weren't much use when there was nothing for them to stick to. I rolled deep into the cave, but at least I had found the professor some firewood. Now I just needed to get back to everybody else.
Can we just walk up the wall? Nope.
It may seem ridiculous, but I really did fall this far into the cave.
I didn't even think of that.
Things started to look familiar. I was pretty sure I was nearly back where I had originally fallen.
Wait. Yeah, I got back.
Everybody warmed themselves by the fire. In the orangey glow, the cave even looked a little homely. Mr. Logan was much more comfortable now that he could see his surroundings, but Mr. Preston kept saying, "We're in bloody dinosaur times." The professor laughed. He pointed out that there was 65 million years between dinosaurs and the emergence of man. But that just made Mr. Preston panic about possible dinosaur ghosts. I got the feeling Mr. Logan had heard this kind of talk before, as he sighed when he said, "Oh, I suppose you believe in ghosts as well now, do you?" "Well, yeah," said Mr. Preston. "Barry's missus says this bloke who works with her uncle reckons his brother saw one. Fact."
Why are you telling ghost stories in prehistoric times?
Story I had ever heard. He explained how there was a man traveling through the Black Wall Tunnel who saw a young motorcyclist stood by a smashed-up motorbike. The man stopped, so the motorcyclist told him an address, but when he got in the back of the car, he fell silent, clearly in shock. "This isn't a ghost story," interrupted Mr. Logan. "This is called giving someone a lift." Mr. Preston was annoyed. Mr. Logan's stupid joke had ruined his train of thought. The mother of a bloke who works with Mrs. Silton's uncle gave a young motorcyclist a lift after a crash outside the Black Wall Tunnel. I said, just happy to be part of the conversation.
Yeah,
that's it, said Mr. Preston as he explained that when the man arrived at the address, the motorcyclist had vanished. He said the man, not knowing what else to do, knocked on the door of the house. Soon an old lady answered, and when the man asked her if she had a son, she burst out crying and sobbed. "I did have, but he died 10 years ago today, just outside the Black Wall Tunnel." I couldn't believe my audio sensors. This was concrete proof of the afterlife. I mean,
no, it
Mr.
wasn't.
Logan did point out that the story was from a children's TV show called Grange Hill. but you can't argue with the facts. Soon, the professor had finished inputting whatever data his box needed. Robot, he said, we need to be outside for my computations to be truly accurate. Find us an exit from this platonic allegory.
Okay. Wait.
The cave.
Okay.
Find us a way out.
Thank you. I was with those two. I didn't understand what he meant by that. Oh. Oh, can't go that way. I find it very annoying that I'm the only one who can't get wet. Well, I understand why they're doing it, but the only one in the group who can't get wet, they want to go find the way out of the wet cave. Okay.
This block looked perfect, so I decided I would only place it where the professor said I should.
Please don't. Fall into the water. There we go. There you go. There's the second one. Here's the second one, Professor. Up over the green spider. I think there's one more below that I can get. Huh. I didn't notice that purple T-Rex. There we go, spider. I did it well. I thought I had messed up. There we go.
Well, I've reversed the polarity of the neutron flow, so, here we go, said the professor as the glowing light surrounded us again.
Moon.
This is it, said the professor as he looked around. Oh no, he gasped as his expression became far more serious. It's the wrong time.
Oh, when they were kids. You got to see the old man when he was a child. That's why he came up with the design of Horace. Where'd you put us now, you daft old man?
We had appeared in another barren desert. I was beginning to think that the past was made of nothing but sand.
That's the future.
The professor looked concerned as he examined his box. It was then that we realized we were completely surrounded.
Oh no, not again.
The men seemed to think I was some kind of god, or, as it turned out, some kind of sacrifice.
They just threw me off a cliff.
The stalactite above me looked quite unstable, like it was ready to come down.
There we go. Wait. Oh yeah, the professor was here before me. That's how they have electricity, but... Ooh, gold.
Some things were worthless junk, but this could be sold for a decent price.
I thought I missed. Spider. Oh god. Okay, at least I got the stalactite down. Yep. Yep. I'll take it. Boss battle?
As
Oh
I
wait.
got to the top of the cliff, I could see everyone else being led away in heavy chains. Their extravagantly dressed capturers were only moving them in a slow march, so I followed them at a safe distance. Strangely, the men seemed to ask the professor something, who nodded in agreement. Although they clearly knew each other, the man in charge pushed the professor into a small wooden cage, along with Preston and Logan. The men then left.
Am I gonna have
was
to
about
fight the
attempt
giant
to
robot
free
he
my
built
friends
for them?
when one of the men returned with some tools. It was then I heard some machinery start in the distance, and the man left again. I then found out what the machinery was.
You built what? Oh gosh. Dang it. He got on the old man building me. Uh-oh. Alright, at least it didn't push me all the way back to the start of the fight. Alright, come on. There we go. I killed it.
Mr. Preston took a chance to do something I'm guessing he thought was brave, shouting, "Catch you later, you ancient Egyptian dickweeds."
Hopefully they don't catch up with us.
"This looks right." "Stay here," whispered the professor, "just in case."
Is he gonna try to destroy me before I was built? Oh. That's how he died?
"Take you on a less than excellent adventure," whispered the professor, his voice slowly weakening. "But I knew he needed to see these things. I was always worried about the military possibilities, but I'm pleased to see your consciousness software is still growing. Life is a state of mind."
Oh, so we were there
I
when
had
he
no
died.
idea what he meant, but he looked so happy. "Quick!" shouted Mr. Logan. "Hide!" I jumped into a large cupboard with Mr. Preston, who whispered something about seeing some people on the security monitor. The cupboard door was pretty thick, so I couldn't really hear what was going on, but suddenly I heard Mr. Silton shout, "Run!" When Mr. Preston eventually opened the door, we saw a large glowing light, exactly like the one from the professor's time machine. It was only then that I realized that we had reappeared just before we had left.
That's time travel.
As we walked back to the train station, Mr. Silton was truly confused. All he kept saying was, "What the bloody hell happened?"
Time travel is very stupid. Nothing is too high for the daring of mortals. We storm heaven itself in our folly. The professor, rest in peace.
Soon we were all gathered around the dusty blackboard back at
Why
Mr.
you-
Silton's house. He was explaining what was an increasingly complicated plan. "And that, ladies and gentlemen," he said, "is the plan of the century."
He's gonna get shot again, isn't he? Don't you? Okay, 3 of us. Why are they just driving in? Don't kill them, Logan.
Sim explained that Heather and her mum were in Lab 33. He said I should find them, then take them to the gate on the other side of the base. I nodded, even though I must have looked terrified. "I'll need to register these two," he continued. "Hopefully the guards won't notice I walked in with 3 robots and now only have 2. He wished me luck and reminded me it was Lab 33, but you only need to tell a robot something once.
Cool. Do I get my I don't get my clothes back. And this is another one of the security things. Alright, while I'm hiding in the locker, I'm going to end it there. This episode, we found out what happened to the professor. We don't know how he died, we just know we were there when he got shot. And we traveled through time with him to the prehistoric, well, early human era and the Egyptian and into ancient Egypt. So, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.